installing the ring on the middle groove of the pistons. Do this compression ring first, because then you don't have to get it over the top ring. So I'm taking the ring here, I'm kind of overlapping it on the side of the piston here. This allows me to kind of stretch one side of it down to the groove, and then I can kind of stretch the rest of the ring around. You don't want to open these rings up or flex them too much. They will break. I have broken rings in the past. So I'm going to kind of just gently with my thumb just kind of stretch it out and over and around the edge of the piston like that. And then when I get towards the end, I'm going to kind of grab the end of it, kind of get it started on the top there, make sure the bottom of it is scooting into place. And what I'm going to be able to do is be able to kind of grab this top end with my finger and get it into that groove. Kind of reach it down over to that groove. The back end is still up just a little bit. Just give it a little bit of a flex and a pull down. And there, it's all in the right groove here. So the middle compression ring is now in place. Putting the top compression ring onto the piston. So we've just put the lower compression ring on the middle groove of the piston. Now we're putting the top one. These rings that I'm using have a little dot marked on them. It's a little hard to see, but there's a dot right there. This dot goes to the top of the piston. So again, same technique. Put the ring over the top of the piston, stretch one side down to the groove, and then just kind of slowly just walk the ring the rest of the way around the piston, and the top part, stretch it down and get it into the groove. And now it's into place. Of course, the top ones are much easier to do because they are closer to the top of the piston, so there's less stretch to go. For putting these in, you can see where the top of the piston is going to be. I'm going to put the lower compression ring, the middle ring, the gap of that is going to be at the bottom of the piston. And then the top compression ring, I'm going to line the gap up with the top of the piston. So here I have a copious amount of oil, just regular engine oil, on the rings. I've got the rings lined up where I want them to be on the piston. So this is the ring compressor here. The ring compressor is a metal band. It's got this kind of like little C-clamp plier arrangement thing that goes on it. There's going to be a little bit of a gap when it squeezes. I'm going to make sure that the gap of my ring compressor is not lined up with one of the gaps of the rings. So I'm going to put it on kind of to the side. Kind of stretch it around, wrap it around, and it's going to squeeze down on the rings. I can put my little clamp on and try to hold everything into place. Turn the little handle on my crank, and it starts to squeeze it shut. Make sure that the ring compressor is kind of even on it. And the other thing you want to do is to make sure that the rings are in the groove. As soon as it starts to clamp, I kind of just jiggle it around. As long as it moves around freely in all directions, that means that the ends of the rings are seating properly in the grooves. So then I'm going to just keep winding it down. It's still lined up. Make sure it's relatively perpendicular to it. And I can bring it down until it's just a little tight, just snug. And that means that the rings are pretty much fully pulled back into the grooves. It's going to look about like that. This one actually, I can tighten it a little bit up, a little bit more because there's still a gap over here on the side. There. Now I'm going to bring my cylinder in place. The cylinder is well oiled on the inside. I can now set my piston on top, lined up the way I want. And now I'm going to use the handle of my mallet to just gently tap it. I'm just going to tap it down out of the ring compressor and into the bore of the cylinder. There it is.